Brought to you by Dubois Productions. Hello and welcome back to NO and JB's Sports Pedigree. We're here to provide insight on a wide variety of sports topics from NBA hoops to UEFA Champions League, international soccer, NFL football, Major League Baseball, anywhere in between. You guys know our goal is not only to give you some perspective and real honest opinion, but we are going to have some fun while we do it, and we definitely hope that you have fun right along with us. So let's not waste any more time. Let's dig right in. I am JB.
And I am NO. JB, how you doing today?
I am doing well. How are you, NO?
I'm doing all right. Just happy for another opportunity to record NO and JB Sports Pedigree. And today, JB, we back to the top fives, man.
Most definitely back. And I think we're going to unveil a little bit of new production from NO at some point on a couple of these backbeats too. So keep an ear out for that as you listen to the show. But
yes, sir.
Top five shortstops. All of these are challenging. I think shortstop, the position itself, outside of catcher, is maybe the most important defensively.
Yes, sir.
But modernized in the modern game, you gotta be able to bring the stick to the plate too and hit a little bit.
You do, definitely.
Most kids growing up, most teams, you'll see the best athlete, the best players typically play shortstop starting out as they grow up through Little League.
Yeah, and when I was doing my list, surprisingly, this wasn't my toughest list to do in terms of the top five players that I put on the list. It was one of the easiest, actually. Yeah. Now, getting them in the proper order that I wanted them to be in, and that's a little bit tougher.
That's true.
Given the skill sets and, trying to determine whether defensive shortstop, more defensive player is going to be higher on my list than a guy who is smacking the ball all over the yard. But with these players, these top five that I chose were all incredible and very well known. All modern era players. JB, you want to kick it off though?
I like that. I will. And just to add, for me, I have a couple that I actually left off that I'll give a disclaimer and or maybe a little reasoning as to why when we're finished here. So yeah, I'll kick it off. My number 5, and I'm excited and happy to say, is none other than maybe my all-time favorite, one of my all-time favorite players, Barry Larkin.
Cincinnati's own.
Yes, sir. Number 5 shortstop of all time. He's 6 foot 185 during his prime. He played only with the Reds from 86 to 04. And as we look back over these all-time great players in baseball, it's interesting to note that a lot of them played with only one team. Barry was a 13-time All-Star, 9-time Silver Slugger winner, 3 Gold Gloves, and probably got overlooked a bit in that category. We'll just say because of maybe another guy that played somewhat during the same era as he did. He won an MVP in 1995.
MVP, baby.
Career 295 hitter. He led the league in runs scored. He had 100 runs scored twice, over 30 doubles 6 times, 20-plus home runs twice, 30-plus stolen bases 5 times, 150-plus hits 7 times, and he batted over 309 times. Really the epitome of a number 2 hitter. I grew up watching the guy, hit behind the runner, could place the ball all over the field. A career 371 on-base percentage, just got on base, got the job done. Clutch player, and can really just do it all. Career 815 OPS. And, maybe some of you might say a little bit of a homer pick, but I'll take it. I very rarely do I have any, I'm pretty objective when it comes to these lists. So Barry's my number 5.
No doubt. Absolutely. And if they call you a homer for putting him at number 5, they definitely going to call me a homer. But my number 5 shortstop of all time is none other than the Wizard, Ozzie Smith. I'm talking about 5'10", a buck, whatever.
It's not wet. A buck nothing.
Soaking wet. Ozzie, the Wizard. I mean, he played for one of our rivals, the St. Louis Cards, but listen, you got to give Ozzie his love. 13-time Gold Glove winner. Yeah. 13 Gold Gloves. 15-time All-Star, man. Ozzie was always in the All-Star game, and he had his signature backflip, which it's just amazing how high he would get off the ground, just how athletic this dude was. Second all-time double plays turn list with 1,590, second all-time. And got that one World Series, 1982. And Ozzie Smith stole 580 bases, which to me was a little bit low considering, some of the players who are, way up there in numbers with, thinking about a Ricky Henderson getting over 1,000. But what makes Ozzie so incredible is, among all these things and all this greatness, he was never being a power hitter. This dude only hit 28 home runs ever,
That's
so
crazy.
Ozzie Smith, man, just the way he was able to affect the game, being such an incredible defensive player and just getting on base and whatnot is why he made my list at number 5.
Well, I'm kind of glad you bring him up at 5. He did not make my list. I'll just let you know that. And it was just because all around, yes, he's the greatest defensively, I think, but it wasn't enough for me to put him above some of these other guys that were, in my opinion, a bit more well-rounded. So my number 4 player of all time is the great Cal Ripken Jr. Obviously, most consecutive games played ever. Probably never be broken. Pretty incredible feat in itself there. He was 6'4", 200 pounds. So, for his time and era, definitely taller than what you would normally see for that position. He played from 81 to 2001, all with the Baltimore Orioles. 19 straight All-Star games. He himself had 8 Silver Sluggers, 2 MVPs in 1983 and 1991. He was a career 276 hitter, 431 homers, and 1,695 ribbies. He's a member of the 3,000 hit club, 3184. Led the league in runs once, hits once, doubles once. Hit over 305 times. Scored 100 runs 3 times, over 150 hits 15 times, which when you're playing every day, that certainly helps. 30 doubles 10 times, and 20-plus home runs 12 times. So a little bit more pop than people probably realize. He drove in over 100 runs 4 times. A little bit lower OPS. I think he struck out a little bit more than I would like, but 788 OPS due to his a little bit lower on base, but just the longevity, the greatness, the class. When you talk about class, him and Barry Larkin, as a matter of fact, those 2 guys come to mind. So couldn't leave Cal off, and he is my number 4.
Can't go wrong with Cal Ripken Jr., no doubt, at number 4. My number 4, for those who, thought that JB was a homer, is Barry Larkin.
Hey,
Larkin
all right.
took the number 4 spot on my list, and statistically, not too much to add, but when you think about his stats, there's actually people out there who say Barry Larkin shouldn't have been a Hall of Famer. Listen, y'all, go ahead and put the clown nose on. Go ahead and put it on, and the shoes, because Barry Larkin is a Hall of Famer all day. When I listen to him now, watching Reds games as the commentator, and I see baseball through his viewpoint and the knowledge that he's able to sieve out and put in such a simplified manner, man, it's just amazing. You can tell why he was so great. It's a dude that batted .319 during his MVP season. .319 during his MVP season, and I'm pretty sure that was the lockout shortened year. His numbers weren't incredible that year, but he did steal 51 bases during that MVP season. And Barry Larkin's leadership on the Cincinnati Reds is why he was such a great player.
Leadership.
He only had around 200 home runs. I mean, listen, I don't care about none of that. Barry Larkin,
379 steals.
Exactly. He was that guy, like you said, from an all-around player standpoint, he did everything pretty well. So, Barry Larkin, extremely consistent and extremely versatile player, is my number 4 shortstop of all time.
Nice, man, and I love it. And you said leadership. That's probably a big, that's maybe the biggest attribute of my number 3, which would be the captain, Derek Jeter. Number 3 all time for me, 6'3", 195. Again, taller than I really thought he was. played from 95 to 2014, all with the Yankees. So first 3 guys on my list all played with one team, and that's it. 14 All-Star appearances, 5 Gold Gloves, and 5 Silver Sluggers. Now, he's the only one on my list without a regular season MVP, but he does have a World Series MVP in 2000.
Yes, he does.
Which he hit 400 during that series. Now, his career, I was surprised, honestly, that he hit 310 for his career. 260 homers, 1,311 ribbies, and 358 steals as well. Almost 3,500 hits for this guy, 3,465. He led the league in runs once and hits twice. He scored 100 runs 13 times, had over 150 hits 17 straight seasons, 30-plus doubles 9 times, 20-plus homers only twice, and only once did he drive in 100 RBI, but this is the top-of-the-order guy, right? Hit over 312 times in his career and over 30 steals 4 times. So, and as you spoke to with Barry, leadership-wise, I mean, this guy was the leader of the Yankees during their run where they won, I don't even know how many championships, and won the league, won the division nearly every year. This guy was called the captain for a reason, and he's number 3 all-time for me.
No doubt, JB, great choice. And it was 5 World Series championships that he had with the Yankees. Actually, a career 308 playoff batting average.
Wow.
You know, and JB, I'm going to go ahead and spew out my number 3 and my number 2 back-to-back because my number 3 and number 2 were your number 4 and number 3.
Oh.
Cal Ripken was my number 3 all-time, and Derek Jeter's my number 2 all-time. JB laid out all the stats, so I'm going to just add a few tidbits. When you listen to those offensive numbers that both of those guys had, incredible. You know, we got the consecutive game streak of Cal Ripken and the 431 home runs, Derek Jeter having the 3,465 hits, and to think both of those guys were above average defensive players as well. Way above average. You know, 2 Gold Gloves for Cal Ripken Jr., Derek Jeter having the 5 Gold Gloves. Like, it just shows you like how incredible these players actually were. Cal Ripken, I don't know if you said it, JB, was a 19-time All-Star. 19-time.
Crazy.
Derek Jeter, 14-time All-Star. And these dudes, man, 2,632 straight games. Goodness gracious, man. The only reason I have Derek Jeter above Cal Ripken is, like you said, the playoff success. It was hard to not put him, you know, at number 1, quite honestly. But that's my number 2. 3 and number 2 shortstops of all time, Cal Ripken Jr. and Derek Jeter. JB, you might as well go ahead and say your number 2 and your number 1.
Yeah,
you might as well.
I will. So I can't argue with those. And my number 2, it sounds like it's probably not going to be on your list at all. And that's okay. My number 2 all-time player is Ernie Banks.
Oh, yeah.
Slugger, really, before, you know, kind of ahead of his time with the Cubbies. Again, entire career from 53 to 71 with the Chicago Cubs. 6'1", 180 pounds. He made 11 All-Star games. Did win a Gold Glove. It was kind of as Gold Gloves were, you know, they weren't around for his entire career. Back-to-back MVPs in 58 and 59. This guy's a member of the 500 Home Run Club. 512. He batted 274 for his career. 1,636 ribbies. So just a little bit less than Cal in that category. But he led the league in home runs twice, RBIs 3 times, and slugging once as a shortstop in the 50s and 60s. Hit over 300 3 times, over 100 runs twice, over 150 hits 11 times, 20-plus home runs 13 times, and he hit over 40 home runs 5 times in his career. This guy absolutely mashed the ball. 100 RBIs 8 different times, and an 830 career OPS. So Ernie Banks is my number 2. No,
baby, you can't go wrong with Ernie Banks. You know, only reason I left him off, for those of y'all should know by now, it was only because of the era.
Yep.
But listen, Ernie Banks could easily been in my top 5 as well. JB, I'm pretty sure we got the same number 1.
Yep. You want to time it up here?
Let's time it up. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Alex
A-Rod.
Rodriguez. A-Rod. I wasn't sure if he was going A-Rod or actually. It's interesting because I'm not the biggest A-Rod fan, but it's kind of undeniable. I'll let you kind of shed some light on him and why he's number one.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It really starts with 696 home runs, and what's probably more impressive than that is 3 MVPs in 5 seasons. And if you remember, JB, he won MVP that 03 season with the Texas Rangers, and then left and to go to New York City.
Yeah.
Wanted to be in the Big Apple, right? Then took him a year off of winning the MVP, not a year off of playing. But then he got it back in 05. But then that 07 season, JB, where he hit 54 home runs, had 156 RBIs. Oh my gosh, one for the ages.
It's ridiculous.
It was incredible. Played for 3 teams primarily during his career. Actually, that's all he played for. It's not primarily. Seattle, the Rangers, and the Yankees. JB, 20-year-old A-Rod in Seattle, bat .358 and finished second in MVP voting. 20 years old.
Crazy.
He hit 36 home runs, 123 RBIs.
How does that not win MVP?
Exactly. I need to go look back at that season and see who won it, man. JB, A-Rod's OPS in his MVP seasons was 995, 1,031, and 1,067.
Wow.
Not to mention 22-year-old A-Rod stole 46 bases. Yes, y'all, he could do that as well. 46 stolen bases. So, go ahead, JB. You can chime in and add something.
Yeah, I mean, you're hitting it on the head. Alex was 6'3", 230. By the time he kind of filled out, he wasn't that big when he first came up, but I believe he started even younger than Griffey, and played from 1994 to 2016. So extremely long career. 10 Silver Sluggers, did win 2 Gold Gloves. Now, some of you out there might say, well, he played a different position. Well, Ernie Banks played a different position too.
Cal Ripken did some as well.
He did. So he played obviously later in his career, moved to third really when he was with the Yankees, and that was because of Derek Jeter being there. Not only did he have 696 homers, which is 4th ever, he batted .295 for his career, and 2,086 RBIs, which is 8th all time. And as you mentioned, 329 steals. Obviously, as he got older, the game changed, his body type changed, and he became more of a slugger. But yeah, he could run too. 3,115 hits. Now, I'm gonna see if I can get this all in one breath. All this stuff he led in. He led the league in runs 5 times, hits once, doubles once, home runs 5 times, ribbies twice, average once, slugging 4 times, and OPS twice. He hit over 300 9 times, 100 runs or more 13 times, 150 hits 12 times, 30 doubles 8 times, and he also had a season where he had 50 doubles. 30 home runs 14 times and 50 home runs 3 times, and drove in 100 runs 14 times. Crazy. I mean, you can't argue with the stat. It's 14. Not even really close.
14. It's not even really close.
Oh, man. And 6 times over 20 steals.
Yeah. There's a lot of people though that will try to put Derek Jeter above him, and this quickly gotta say no. Derek didn't win any MVPs. They're thinking more the team success, which
sure.
They were teammates for a while, but it's like.
But you're telling me if you gotta put a lineup together and you got a game to win, who you gonna put in? I don't know, man. I'm taking the guy that's that can mash the ball, do it all.
54 yeah, that dude is insane. A-Rod, man. Yeah, I actually always have been an A-Rod fan. Who knows, man? Who knows what went down for real when it comes down to the reality aspect of the steroid era and whatnot. But baseball speaking, man, I've always loved it. But anyways,
yeah, there's a couple of guys with that you don't ever hear Ken Griffey Jr. We won't ever have to worry about him being mentioned with any of that stuff. So.
Oh my goodness, yes sir.
That's a good thing.
Yes, sir.
And I want to say, as we round out the list there, top 5, excellent job. I will say that besides Ozzie being left off my list, another honorable mention I would like to put out there is Robin Yount.
Yes sir.
It was challenging. I kind of went back and forth with him. He played a lot of center field as well, and I almost feel like he had the better part of his career in center. So.
Alan Trammell was another
Oh
one.
yeah, the Tiger.
Sir, yes, sir.
All right.
That's good stuff, JB, on them shortstops. JB, you know, we don't talk about our favorite NFL coordinators very often and coaches in football, but with the season upcoming, I think that's something we need to do. So today, JB, let's both kind of highlight our top defensive coordinator in the NFL.
Sounds good. I
And
hope we
kind
didn't
of the
pick
style
the same one.
Well, if we did, then that means two great minds think alike.
That's true.
JB, when I saw kind of how the 49ers had a battle late in the season in 2021, who says that? 2021. Just